Hello, welcome to the site of Bedlington Ironworks and Engine Works. So here, as you can see on this sign, was the site of the Bedlington Iron and Engine Works. You can pause it for a bit better read if you want to. But this was the site here, on the banks of the River Blythe. You've got a small furnace-way bridge over there, and then this behind is an artwork called GLO-BED rail, so globed rail. It symbolises that rails developed in Bedlington were part of world history. So you can see there, East Bedlington Parish Council globed rail was commissioned to commemorate the Bedlington Iron and Engine Works, because on this site there was a fundamental change. So it was this side of the river plus the other side of the river over there on the Blythe side, that if we return to the little name board, was part of the malleable iron rails developed by John Birkinshaw. So those rails were used to great effect on the Stockton and Darlington Railway in 1825, celebrating its anniversary there this year. And it was chosen apparently in favour of cast iron rails that George Stephenson had an interest in anyway. So because he was always interested more in a technologically superior thing rather than simply something he owned or he had copyrights over and things like that, or patents, he would adopt a good idea as if it was his own, rather than just relying on what he already had an interest in. So Bedlington rails, being malleable, became much more important in the development of early railways, led to lower breakage, heavier locomotives could be implemented, and leading to the greater and greater success of railways in the future. But a little snippet of history, you can go down here. So one of the things that's oddly with this site, despite it being such a pivotal one for railways, is that I don't believe it ever was rail connected. I think there was a wagonway that brought coal, but the lack of a railway connection, despite the Blythe and Tyne railway just being a little bit further down the valley, meant that the way things were moved to and from the ironworks was actually by ship. So these walls along here are wharves under the bridge there, leading off towards the North Sea. But these are wharves for shipping to dock at, to send the products out by sea, not by rail, which is a little bit unusual for an ironworks that was pivotal in some way to development of early rails. But a little snippet of history there for you, and hopefully, given it being 2025 in Northumberland, we'll see a bit of a change away from road building and more towards increasing use of rail to mark the anniversary of very important technological developments a little over 200 years ago, and a continued success, one of which is just down the valley at the Northumberland Line. With the opening of the Northumberland Line, which has proven incredibly successful, with 350,000 passengers apparently just passed, and hopefully we can get extensions to the system off to Newbiggin by the Sea, or using the line from Bedlington back over the East Coast Main Line and form the Northumberland Coast Loop to give a link between King's Cross, which was hauled by a Bedlington loco, the very first train. So wouldn't it be fitting to mark that anniversary with a train from King's Cross through Bedlington and on to places like Edinburgh and things like that. Food for thought.